in today's session of Divorce Court. When Trina Harris's marriage to Richard began to crumble, she got comfort from her new best friend.
This is his first wife, Sandra.
Oh!
And we're roommates.
Who are you?
I'm his fiance.
Oh, you're the new Mrs. Harris. This is the past, this is the present, and the future.
Yep.
Oh, Father.
Can Judge Mablean straighten out this love triangle in today's session of Divorce Court?
All rise. Court is now in session. Judge Mablean Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
This is the matter of Richard Harris versus Trina Harris. I'm advised that Ms. Harris, you're suing Mr. Harris for reimbursement for the money you paid for a divorce from his first wife?
Yes, Your Honor. I paid for his first wife, for him to get a divorce from her so that, we could get married and be together, but things didn't work out like that.
You wanted it that bad you were willing to pay for the divorce?
Yes. Well, because I was pregnant, too, and I was only 16, so, that didn't really help out matters much.
You were 16 years old.
Yes.
Dating a married man.
Well,
he
was
had not
separated.
yet divorced. He's still married. He had not yet divorced.
Right.
He didn't even have the money to pay for the divorce. You paid for the divorce so you could marry this man.
Yes.
No, that's not.
What did he do for you?
Well, he gave me a baby and took me off the streets. He was romantic, and he got on his knees and sang love songs to me and made me fall in love with him. And then we were seeing each other, and then I found out I was pregnant. And, being a teenage woman pregnant, I was like, well, I guess the best thing would be marriage.
The sad part about it is you said that he sang romantic songs and made love to you. You didn't even know what love was. He
At
had
that time,
sex
no, I
with
didn't.
you. Right.
Your Honor, I
And
didn't
you were
know.
running away from something else.
That's not how it happened.
How did it happen
was,
from your point of view?
My point of view is I went over to my sister's house, and I met her, and I didn't know how old she was, because I didn't think...
Here's the I didn't know how old she was routine.
I asked her how old she was. She told me she was 18, and she wasn't.
You asked her, and she told you, and you didn't ask anyone else, and you didn't try to inquire, and you didn't ask for identification, and you didn't find out anything about her, right?
Right.
So, but were you married?
We got married because...
Were you married when you saw her? When you met her?
I was separated. She knew I was separated.
Well, okay, I'm going to tell you the same thing.
And she wanted to pay for my divorce, and it was all her idea of paying for my divorce.
So, if you were married already, you shouldn't have been trying to deal with another woman in the first place, regardless of how old she was. What'd you say?
I said, that's not the case, Your Honor.
Oh, so in your country, where you live, United States or somewhere else, you can mess around and marry 2 or 3 people at a time? Is that it?
No, that's not it. She left my marriage, and my divorce was already final, and she went and got married.
I thought you said it wasn't final, that this woman, Mrs. Harris,
no.
Trina Harris, paid for your divorce.
We was already divorced before we even got married.
You were 16, you ran into him.
She wasn't 16 when I married her.
Would you please be
was
quiet? I'm not saying anything about marriage. I said when you met her, you were separated from your wife.
Yeah.
You paid for his divorce.
Because I got pregnant by him. We didn't do the divorce until after I'd found out I was pregnant, and we were already seeing each other. We were living in the same place, but we were getting separate grants at 2 different addresses, And that's when we decided. That's when we decided to get the divorce from his first wife so that we could get married.
So the two of you are walking.
Yep,
the two of you are able-bodied persons, and I'm going to give you a little slack. You're 16 years old. You're a runaway. You're running away from something. Apparently, your family life was not what it should have been. You're not getting direction. You don't have guidance. You meet a man who's older by how many years?
3.
And he's woos you, and now he's pregnant. Both of you living off taxpayer dollar, and you're taking it filed for divorce. Is that right? Is that what you're telling me?
But
and then you got married, and now you want this court to order him to reimburse you.
Well, part of the money that was paid for the first divorce was paid from the grant, but the other part of it I paid out of my own pocket when I was working because I had to pay for it.
When did you go to work?
After I'd left him.
When did you leave him?
97.
So when did you marry him?
In 95.
So you were together for 2 years?
We were together about 1.5 years before we got married. And then
you didn't finish paying for the first divorce until after you were separated from him?
No, I paid for that in it was like 95, 90, well, no, 96.
It's all confusing to you two, huh?
Yeah.
It's real confusing to me. Who are these other two women?
This is his first wife, Sandra.
Oh!
And we're roommates. We're friends.
This is a can of worms. And who are you?
I'm his fiance.
Oh, you're the new Mrs. Harris. Mrs. Harris, number one.
Yes.
This is the
Your
past.
Yep.
This is the present and the future.
Yep. And he's got children by all three of us.
Past, present, future.
Yeah.
Mr. Harris, what's your secret?
Getting us pregnant is his secret.
I don't understand this. So why is you're the present?
Yes.
You paid for the divorce from the past.
Yes.
She did not pay, Your Honor.
Well, the grant money, neither one of you paid, really.
Exactly.
You didn't
So
pay
she's
either.
trying to get money from me that I didn't even, that I don't owe her, she don't owe me.
Now, I think both of you owe us. Come forward, pass. You are really now friends with the present?
Yes, Your Honor.
How did that come about?
We have a lot in common.
Ah, you said a mouthful there. A lot in common. No,
Yes.
because she was 16.
Well,
How were you when you married him? 16?
18.
18 going on 19.
So why?
Yes.
What makes you? What do you have so much in common?
They both have kids by me, Your Honor.
Wait a minute.
That's one thing.
Are you pregnant now, Mrs.
No.
Harris? Are you
No.
pregnant? What's your name?
Sandra Turner?
You pregnant, Miss Turner?
Yes, I am.
By him?
No.
No, not by me.
Ooh,
Oh,
thank
no,
you.
no. No, by my new boyfriend. By my,
Something good comes out of this madness.
She
So
had,
you are now living with Mrs. Harris.
No, I live with her.
She's my
Oh.
roommate.
How you get to be roommates?
I'm on a
She
fixed
needed a
income.
place to stay, and I offered her a room for rent, so
Why would you do that?
I get along with her. I have no problems with her.
How did you become friends?
Just talking. I mean, I try to get along with everybody. So,
So you became friends talking about what a dog he is?
No, nothing like that.
It was mostly because of the fact of the son that these two share together.
When they were together.
When she
Okay,
left
tell
him,
me
she
about
left
that.
the son with him. And when I met him, he had the son. The son was
And I
like
was taking care of him
almost,
by my-
he was almost a year old.
Right.
Well, I was there, and when I met with him, and we were together and everything, and then I got pregnant. Well, that's how the divorce and all that got brought up, because I was like, I'm not going to stay here with you and raise this other woman's child, and then her come
Unless
back.
you marry me.
No, and no, it wasn't that. No, I told him I wanted him to get custody of his other son because
Okay.
I didn't want her to come back 5 years down the road and say, oh, well, he's mine, and take him. And then I put all
Oh,
my
well, you
love
did
in-
have a little bit of sense going on there, didn't you?
Yeah, well, because I didn't want to put all my love and my heart out to this child
me?
and then him be ripped away from me. Well, that's how it happened anyways
So
in the
now,
end.
and you had a little
Wait.
socially redeeming value. You were taking care of your son by your first
myself.
wife.
By myself.
And
And I met her.
And then you met Mrs. Trina Harris, who assisted you in the care of the son.
Right.
And she had enough sense to understand that this is the child's mother.
Yes.
So you formed a good relationship with
Yes.
the mother,
Yes.
which is really commendable and quite unusual. But you didn't have to go get, woo, how you get to be that close now? That's, you're supposed to form a relationship so that the child sees the mother, but you became friends.
Yes.
Well, that's because after I'd left him, I couldn't see Daniel no more, the son. And she gets her legal visitation rights to him. And that helped into the more of us being closer friends
So
because
that the
though I
child
could
would still
see-
have two mothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we could
Two
both still
loving
see him. And
parents.
Steve, yeah, we're still there. We see him all the time on the weekends
Confused,
when she gets it.
confused parents, but loving.
Yes.
When divorce court returns, the love triangle gets more complex.
Wait a minute, you got married to another man before you divorced Mr. Harris?
Yes.
In whose country?
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce Court returns as Richard Harris's past and present wives team up against him.
So now, what do you have to say about Mr. Harris, Miss Turner?
Well, he hasn't changed any. He's never wanted to hardly work. I mean, he's held a couple jobs, but in the beginning when we were together, he didn't want to work.
So why did you leave your son with him? He must have been doing something right.
I was a good provider.
I didn't have
I
a
stayed
place. I didn't have an apartment. I didn't have a place to take him, and he was getting his own apartment.
Your Honor.
So I felt
Just
that he
hold
should.
on.
I felt that he should be with the father who's getting an apartment.
All right, so now the two of you are friends.
Yes.
And you know that she paid for the divorce?
Yes.
How do you know that?
I was there. I went with them to legal aid. We all went down to legal aid together.
Quite an unusual story.
Yeah.
So you think that he ought to repay her for divorcing you? Why shouldn't you repay her for doing you a favor, getting rid of him? She did you a favor. She allowed you to be free of it. Why shouldn't you repay her?
Well, I left him on my own.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, she moved in with it.
Okay, now I know what you want and where you stand. Now sit down, Miss Turner, because this is good. Number two, Miss Harris.
Yes.
So I understand you're remarried again.
No, I'm divorced
From who?
from my second husband.
When
Yeah.
did you marry him?
We weren't.
I married him last year in
quiet.
it was in 98. November of 98, I got married to him, and then things didn't work out that great, and
Wait a minute. You got married to another man before you divorced Mr. Harris?
Exactly.
yes,
And now you're divorced from the other man?
yes,
Exactly.
In whose country?
ours, right here,
Arizona.
America.
Oh, no, it doesn't go like that. It doesn't go like that.
Well, no, it's not supposed to go like
What'd
that.
you do? You went somewhere else and got married to another person?
Arizona.
I lived in Arizona, and
And you didn't let them know that you were married?
They didn't ask.
Well, usually when you fill out an application for marriage, it asks this question. Are there any previous marriages? Yes or no? How did those previous marriages end? Divorce, death. That's what it asks.
Well,
and you
on
check
the
one of those
application-
boxes.
On the application that I had filled out for my second marriage, it didn't ask those questions.
And you didn't bother to tell anybody that you still had a husband in California.
There was nobody to tell.
What about the husband you were marrying? What about the
He
person you
knows.
were marrying?
He knew.
So he knew you were married.
Yes.
Right.
You're a bigamist.
Yes, I found that out.
And you didn't get arrested.
Well, no.
And now you're divorced from him.
Yes.
Oh, this is foolishness. Come on, future. You know what your future is? You see, you have a future. Do you really think that you have a future in this?
Well,
Wait a minute. Have you heard all of this?
I want and expect different things from Richard than they need.
Why do you expect something any different, Mrs. What's your name? Miss Melissa
It's
Pronounce
Melissa
your last name.
Zamzis.
Zamzis? So tell me now, why do you expect something so differently? I'm going to hear this great philosophical discussion.
Okay, well, when I met Richard, I was under the impression that he was already divorced.
And I thought I was,
because
Your Honor, too.
she had remarried.
So now that you
Okay.
know that he's not divorced, which it doesn't require an impression, all it requires is a piece of paper. You know, when they give you a divorce certificate, it's on a form and it says notice of entry of judgment. You are now divorced.
Well, I asked him where it was, and he said he didn't receive one.
I didn't get one, Your Honor.
So,
Right. You didn't go get one because you didn't have one.
She said she was
Right.
going to file a divorce.
Oh, please. You didn't know how to go down to the courthouse and ask one of the clerks, is my divorce final? Is there a piece of paper with my name on it? Do you know your name?
Yes.
You know how to read your name?
Yeah.
You know how to read her name?
Yes.
You couldn't go and ask, is there a piece of paper that says Richard Harris and Trina Harris are no longer married?
No. Staying
So
home.
now what makes you think this is going to be so different, Miss Future?
well, for one reason, because I'm willing to go out and work and support my own family and myself, whereas they didn't want to work. They wanted a man taking care of them, and I don't want that
That's
or
not
need it.
Oh, so here it is. I got it. I got
That's
it.
not true.
I'm a better woman
No,
than
I'm not
her.
saying that. That's not
and
what I'm
then
saying.
her.
No,
And
I'm
therefore,
just saying
my
I
marriage
want
is going to
something
work because I'm a
different.
better woman.
No, I'm just saying I want something different from him. I'm not saying I'm better than them. I'm just saying I want something different.
You want something different for yourself, but you bring in the same character. Do you understand math? When you have an equation and you have the same factor in the equation each time, he's the factor. You usually get the same result. Now, what has changed about him and his character? What has changed?
Well, you know, I think that he is a really good man. He's good with the kids. He stays home, takes care of the house. He runs the house the way I want it to be run. And childcare is hard to find.
So you're satisfied with the fact that you now are going to have you a stay-at-home dad, and that's what you're looking for.
Yep.
That's what I got.
Is that what you're telling me?
I'm satisfied
Yes.
with that.
You
know what?
There's a lot of men that do that.
There's a lot of men that do that. So you've gotten
Yes.
what you want. That's why you think it'll be all right, because you have gotten what you want, because you don't want very much. You want a man to come home and be there for you, to clean your house, to cook, and to stay at home. Now, how many children do you have?
I
5.
Oh, Father.
That's not how many children. I have 3 of my own children, and I have 1 with Richard. And
You
then
have one with him already?
Yep.
Yes.
I thought you hadn't gotten married yet.
We ain't married.
We're not married.
Oh, my goodness. That's
And not pay
sad.
child support.
He
I
does
do
pay
pay
But
child
now,
support.
he's got, no, how's he gonna pay child support? You just said he's gonna stay at home and take care of the children.
He was working and paying her child support, and she was saying she was going to give receipts, and she never did. Never gave any receipts for anything.
That's not true.
So
You
I
know,
had him.
Ooh,
I
this
had
is
him
sad.
go down to the district attorney's office to voluntarily sign up to pay child support, and I'm paying it because he's staying home taking care of my kids.
When divorce court continues.
All of you need to run out of here as fast as you can to the first sign that says psychotherapist.
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by. If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court returns as the love triangle gets unraveled.
Ms. Zamzis, is that it? Ms. Trina Harris and Ms. Sandra Turner and Mr. Harris. You all are a sad bunch of people. I hate to say it, but you are. And I really feel sorry for you. And all of you need to run out of here as fast as you can to the first sign that says psychotherapist. And I'm not trying to be funny at all because each of you has problems in your own way. You are sadly mistaken, Mrs. Zamzis, to settle for less than. There's more to life than having sex. You need to understand that there's more to life than making babies and dealing with different women. That doesn't make you a man. Doesn't make you a wonderful person. I don't care how nice you are.
I stay home
And you're
and take care of
doing that
kids,
because there's a void in your life. And you're accepting it because you figure, why not? Plenty of men do it. The other fathers are not there for your other 3 children, right?
Well, he was a workaholic. He worked all the time, didn't care about the kids, didn't spend time with the kids.
And he spends
it's nice
time
to
with the
have a
kids.
man who will stand up and spend time with the kids.
And when he can't pay for those kids and can't help you, and when the money that he does make has to go out to take care of these 2 children, you're going to be completely satisfied with
Wait,
that,
wait,
right?
I still.
You're going to be completely satisfied.
I am working, taking care of them, providing for them financially myself. And I am satisfied with that. I have a better education than he does. I have a college education. I can get a better job than he can.
You have a college education. You have a need to care for somebody. And that's why you want this man, because you have a need to care for someone. And probably because when you're caring for someone and when you're doing better than them and you're providing for them, it makes you feel needed and it makes you feel wanted and it makes you feel loved. But all of us need someone to give back to each other. And that's not going to last very long. Trust me. Don't have to talk. Just trust me. It's not going to last long. Because ultimately, a person with a college education is not going to be satisfied with a man just staying at home. Because after a while, your children going to get grown. They're going to get older. You won't need him to stay at home and care for them. Then what? And when a man has to learn self-control over his body like him, if you're number 3, number 4 is around the corner. Around the corner. It's a pattern that he's created for himself.
But, Your Honor.
No. Don't but you honor me. Word to the wise, do what you want to do. Your life. Make a mess of it. I am not ordering him to repay you $375 and no other dollar. It wasn't your money in the first place. And even if it was yours, you did it. You paid for it voluntarily because you were in love with him then. And now you're mad because the marriage didn't work.
No, I'm not
And now
mad
you
because the
want
marriage
him to
didn't work.
repay you.
I'm not mad because the marriage
paid
didn't work.
for the
I'm mad because he doesn't help support his child.
No, you asked me to, then you should have asked me for support for the children. That's the whole point. You walk in here talking about, I want $375 for a divorce that I paid for so I can marry him. Instead of saying, I want some money for support for my child that I have for this man.
That's because he told me he was going to
Yeah,
pay it.
all right. That's what you should have been concerned about. Your $375 for the divorce, you got what you paid for. A no good man. Court's
Yeah.
adjourned.
That's
All
true.
rise.
Well, I don't like her verdict. I don't think it was right at all.
My plans is to go home and get my divorce finalized and get on with my life.
He sends my kid home and he just doesn't do anything. He doesn't take care of her.
Well, the accusations that they said on were not really true, some of it.
I hate him. There ain't nothing I want to say to him. He's a jerk. He needs to fall off the face of the earth.